I mean, just looking for my little brother, huh?
Absolutely.
Cool.
So,
Yeah.
So what's
just looking
the deal?
for my little brother.
Okay. Who's the little brother?
Eddie's, Jace Ward.
Do you see how relaxed this guy is at this point? I mean, he's nervous there's a cop there, but he's not hiding anything. It looked like the cop, did a cop just open the guy's door up? And by the way, I did see another white car right there as well. You see that? Right in front of this car? Looks similar to me, but I'm not paying attention. Thinking about maybe what I'm going to do for the rest of my life, not knowing I'm going to be in a few minutes. Welcome, everyone. I am Leroy Truth for Leroy Truth Investigations, because recording the police in the course of their duty shall keep things transparent, shall help us hold them accountable, and shall keep us free. Today, breaking news. There was a incident in a parking lot of a school a year ago, and the family has filed a lawsuit today, 1 year from the incident. And it is another extremely egregious example of the need for profound police reform. To underline to my regular viewers and new subscribers and new viewers. And by the way, if you're not subscribed and you're viewing, please subscribe. It will get the message out to so many more people. Really appreciate that. And for new and previous viewers, my goal here is not to simply agitate or make you angry for no reason. It is to show you the truth of what is happening in our society in regards to the police and the police state, because there is almost no accountability for police. And my friend Josh with Accountability for All, what does the title of his channel say? Accountability for All. And that includes me and you. If we do the right thing, if we live a great life, that's awesome. Any of us do the wrong thing, then there's consequences to that. But when you have the police in the state that don't get consequences, they will run amok like a mold or germs that go all over the place. We need to stop this now. This will make your blood boil. And first, I'll read you what happened here. Now, we have here body camera video shows on a live shooting the police did during the middle school pickup. Richard Ward's family filed a federal lawsuit Tuesday against the Pueblo County Sheriff's Office. Again, I so appreciate you spending time here and getting the latest. So you can do something always peacefully with contacting your local, state, and federal politicians and demanding police reform. We are the masters of them, not the other way around. They do our bidding, not the other way around. In Pueblo, West Colorado, a family filed a federal lawsuit Tuesday against the Pueblo County Sheriff's Office after deputies unalived a man in a middle school pickup line last year. Richard Ward, 32, was unalived him 3 times in the chest during an encounter with deputies on February 22nd, 2022. And I speak like that so I don't get bleeped by this platform here. The 10th Judicial District Attorney's Office cleared both deputies involved in the call in October, arguing the deputy who did that thing was justified in his use of force. Ladies and gentlemen, I saw the video. If this isn't something that starts with the letter M, then nothing is. The gentleman did nothing wrong. And the police escalated things profoundly, completely wrong. This gentleman did nothing wrong. The police escalated it insanely, made no sense. And at some point, a cop says, "Oh, you put a pill in your mouth." And the cop just went ballistic, went nuts, went crazy. Pulls the guy out of the car, like shreds him out of the car onto the sidewalk. And of course, what the cops say, stop resisting, stop resisting. Even if someone isn't, but it is human nature. If you're suddenly sitting in your car 1 second and they violently take you out, The other second, you may be trying to get your bearings. You're suddenly on the sidewalk. And then the cop, 1, 2, 3. And the gentleman was unalived. Continuing. Richard Ward, 32, was ... in the chest 3 times during an encounter with deputies on February 22nd, 2022. The 10th Judicial District Attorney's Office cleared both deputies involved in the call in October, arguing the deputy who bleeped was justified in his use of force. I'll show you the video. I'll take out as much as possible so it does not get bleeped on here, shall we say. But I saw it. It was not justified. It was absolute crime. Continuing. It just shattered this whole family, Christy Ward Stamp, Ward's mother, said at a news conference Tuesday afternoon, as her attorneys filed the civil lawsuit against Pueblo County. It's been a really horrible, really, really horrible. I don't even know who I am anymore, but I'm working on it, she said. That's about it. She had a son who was alive, and then he's not. Ward's younger brother, Eddie Stamp, who lives out of state, was at the news conference to support his mother. It's infuriating, he said. It's so hard to watch the footage and see what happened with your own eyes. The family is upset both with what the video shows and this is important, ladies and gentlemen, the way the story was portrayed by the sheriff's office after the shooting. See, the cops got away with their narrative because there was no accountability, because the video was not shared publicly. Whenever there is this thing that cops many times do, that video needs to be released completely raw within 24 hours to the general public. No editing, no muting, no redacting anything. Otherwise, they get their way. With no video, and I don't see what the narrative it was yet in this, but it was sure as hell not what actually happened, because cops lie. It's a part of the fundamental structure of policing. They lie. They're even legally allowed to lie. The courts have agreed during the course of their duty. So since that's the case, ladies and gentlemen, why can they be trusted even under oath to tell the truth? That should be suspect every time they open their mouth in court. Are they really telling the truth? They get to lie for a living and it's sanctioned by the court. But they're suddenly going to suspend their lying ways when they hold their hand on a Bible and so help me God, I will tell the truth. They lie constantly. Continuing. Dave Lucero, who was a chief deputy at the time and is now the Pueblo County Sheriff, briefed reporters at the scene that day. Lucero told reporters that day that Ward jumped out of the vehicle. An absolute bald-faced lie. And he's getting up there and lying on behalf of the people who unalived that gentleman. He is as responsible as those people. We need to hold everyone accountable. The chiefs, the sergeants, the captains, the lieutenants, everyone. I'm going to say this one more time. Lucero told reporters that day that Ward jumped out of the vehicle. Completely a lie. The video actually shows Ward being pulled out of the car by a deputy, forcefully, with great violence. Suddenly. Escalated insanely. Because there was supposedly some pill. I don't know if it was medication. I don't know if it was drugs. There should have been no escalation like that. What did you do? Not violently pulling him out of the car and just a few seconds later unaliving him 3 times. To hear my younger brother say that other people's parents are reading that story and that other kids in his class are referring to my brother as this intruder and attacker, and to have him not know how to even deal with that, Eddie Stamp said. Ward was sitting in the car with his mother and her boyfriend, waiting for his younger brother to get out of Liberty Point International School in Pueblo West. According to family attorney Daryl Kilmer, Ward got out of the car to stretch his legs and smoke a cigarette. When he returned, Kilmer said he accidentally got into another SUV that looked like his mother's. I've freaking done that. I've done that. Have you? Many people have done that. We're not paying attention. We're not completely present in the moment. Car looks similar. Go to open the door. Oh, shit, it's not my car. I've done that. Fortunately, no one called 911 on me. Cops could have killed me as well. Continuing. At worst, he has startled a lady by opening her car door, though it was accidental. And I saw the video. And in the video, I could see his demeanor. He was not hiding anything. I do not have to be a highly trained investigator as a human being to see that. Any cop could have saw this guy wasn't hiding anything. It was an accident. He's a human being. Oh, but people aren't considered human beings by the cops. They're just animals. We can do our way with them, including unaliving them. Continuing. The officers had no basis to believe Richard had committed any crime, and absolutely no basis to believe that Richard was a danger to them or anyone else. According to a decision letter from the district attorney, a 911 caller reported a suspicious person trying to open doors. The caller claimed Ward was on something. This is messed up. Warning, if you use 911 to call the police, again, it does have its place, absolutely. But you have to be clear in what you say and don't call for petty stuff. And be very clear in what you say. If the person's not armed, you don't see any weapons, don't say he's armed or she's armed. Just for one example. That escalates things profoundly. Oh, he's on something. Maybe he's on something. How the hell would you know? Charles McWhorter arrived on scene. He approached Ward in the SUV and had a brief conversation with him. In body camera footage, Ward tells the deputy he's nervous because he doesn't like cops. You think he has good reason not to from everything he's seen? And remember, ladies and gentlemen, what we see is a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of what actually happens or what cops do to people. This is the fractional amount of incidents that get recorded on video, or when there's body cam, that the body cam footage isn't erased, deleted, disappeared. Oh, the camera wasn't working or wasn't turned on, or it just doesn't see the light of day. This is a fraction of what actually happens. That's why we got to change this immediately with police reform. Continuing. Ward tells the deputy he's nervous because he doesn't like cops. He tells the officer he has some anxiety and has had bad experiences with police yelling at him to stop resisting when he'd done nothing wrong. Same thing happens again in just a few seconds. McWhorter asks if Ward has an ID. Of course, that's crack for cops. And by the way, do you know why cops ask for ID and insist upon it? Because that's their way of asserting control, a dynamic of control, that they are controlling the person and the situation they are in. That is how they are trained. That's why it seems like it is crack. For anything, you breathe, you yawn, oh, give me your ID. And that's why they get so pissed off and escalate so much when you don't give it to them. Because that's how they're trained to gain control over you. And when you give your ID when you don't have to, they've won. In their perspective, now I have control of that human being, that free man or free woman who doesn't have to give their ID if they haven't done any crime. Continuing. McWhorter asks if Ward has an ID, and when Ward reaches into his pockets, see how it's always a lose-lose. Give me your ID, but if you're reaching in your pocket, you're reaching for a gun, and I fear for my life, and I must kill you. Continuing. McWhorter asks if Ward has any weapons. Ward tells McWhorter he may have a pocket knife. We have a right to own a pocket knife. Body camera from a second deputy, Cassandra Gonzalez, who arrived after McWhorter, shows Ward slipping something into his mouth. Kilmer said Ward had an anxiety disorder and had been prescribed medication for it. So it was probably anxiety medication. He's in a very, very stressful situation right now, with an armed guy being aggressive toward him and accusing him of a crime, something he didn't do. Whatever crime, we don't know, but he didn't do it, as far as I see. The deputy demanded to know what Ward put in his mouth. Ward answered it was just a pill. But when you see the video, the deputy demanded to know what Ward put in his mouth. He went ballistic. I mean, it is insane. So over the top, out of context with what was going on. That deputy is responsible for the unaliving of this gentleman. McWhorter, it should say McWhorter viciously pulled Ward out of the SUV. Didn't just say, here he come along. Viciously pulled him out and onto the ground. And the two struggled for several seconds. It wasn't a struggle between two people. This guy is suddenly laying on the ground. He doesn't know what the hell's going on. He's being, hands are pinned behind his back. He's uncomfortable. What does a human being do? They usually don't just go to sleep, like play dead for a bear. They lie, these cops. I'll say this again. McWhorter aggressively pulled Ward out of the SUV and violently and onto the ground, and the two struggled. It wasn't a struggle between two people. It was a cop escalating. McWhorter pulled out his service weapon and ... McWhorter pulled out his service weapon. McWhorter pulled out his service weapon. McWhorter pulled out his service weapon and fired 3 shots at Ward. After the ... Ward's mother and her boyfriend are heard screaming from inside the SUV, asking for information from the deputies. He was alive and waiting for his freaking brother a few seconds earlier. If any politician, senators, President Biden, if you have any brain cells left, senators, congressmen and congresswomen, state, local, public elected people, if you needed to see one single video to show police culture, this is it right here. The escalation, the unaliving, the cover-up, the hiding of the video, the lying of everyone up to the chief of police about what happened, and making the victim something he was not, making him the bad guy when he was just an innocent guy waiting for his younger brother at a school. Continuing. The deputies closed the car door and stood with Ward's body for nearly 3 minutes until medical assistance arrived. Didn't look like they did anything in the video at all, that they didn't actually even render aid to the person they just unalived 3 times. Now, I'll show you the video. I'll show you as much as possible that hopefully won't be bleeped by this platform here.
10-4, I'm in contact with it. Looks like it's going to be a Ford.
Now, this is the police going to the school right now.
I guess he's going to be in the backseat of the white Lexus. It's going to be called.
Did you see there was another white car there? And by the way, why was that muted? Maybe it was license plate.
Wow, calm cost for me just looking for my little brother, huh?
Absolutely.
Cool.
So,
Yeah,
so what's
just
the
looking
deal?
for my little brother.
Okay, who's the little brother?
Eddie's, Chase Ward.
Do you see how relaxed this guy is at this point? I mean, he's nervous as a cop there, but he's not hiding anything. It looked like the cop, did the cop just open the guy's door up? And by the way, I did see another white car right there as well. You see that? Right in front of this car? Looks similar to me, but I'm not paying attention. Thinking about maybe what I'm going to do for the rest of my life, not knowing I'm going to be unalived in a few minutes. Maybe I'm not paying attention. I get into the other car. I will open the other car by accident, the car door.
Yeah. Forgot who the little brother was?
No.
All right.
No, I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing with you, man.
Yeah?
Why are you touching my arm, bro? Let go.
Why you acting like this?
I'm a little nervous because I don't like cops.
Why?
I have anxiety. They've done things to me.
What have they done to you?
Stop resisting when you're not resisting.
So there's a lot to unpack just in those few sentences. Number one, the cop needs to investigate. What they did to him, is irrelevant here. And investigate. Did this guy do a crime or not? And if he actually did some investigation within a minute or so, he'll probably find out he didn't.
Was that PD or us?
Who knows?
So we're different, right? We're the SO.
I don't know. You treat us all.
They're different. Yeah, a shitload worse. He was punched and beat up before, not unalived.
I'm not just trying to disrespect you, nothing, but it's just like, I'm just a normal guy just trying to get my brother, you know?
You said we treat you? What?
I
don't know. I don't even know who you are.
Okay.
Okay?
Cool.
Right.
I'm just here to pick up my little brother, man. I'd like to just...
See, cop already has an attitude. Aggressive.
So,
who did I disrupt by trying to get my brother?
Well, they said that you were going around trying to mess with doors and open up cars.
No, dude, the fucking car looked... I thought... Oh my God.
So what'd you do? I just want to hear your side of the story, man.
Oh, you're talking... Dude, I straight up thought that was my freaking... My car, that's all it was.
You thought it was your car over here and you were looking for your brother, but
I straight up thought that was my car.
Okay.
I seen
and what car was it?
I thought it was my mom. I was yelling at her. I thought because I knew she was in there. I don't even know that lady.
Yeah, I know. That's what she was freaking out about, right?
Hey, but she was like, but when she started driving, I was like, oh man, and I was like, lady, I'm sorry. I was like, I did not, you know. That's what happened. So.
Okay.
That's all. The long and short of it, right there. That's the long and short of it. He accidentally went into the wrong car. Someone called 911, and it cost him his life.
Are you under the influence of anything?
No.
Okay. You have an ID with you?
Do
you have any weapons? Do you have any weapons?
I don't think so. I had a pocket.
You don't think so? Don't pull them out. Would you just stick in your mouth? Would you just stick?
Now it just went to another body cam here. Do you see how it was escalated so profoundly by the cops? Absolutely, egregiously, despicable, evil. I know this makes my blood boil, but anger without purpose is wasted. Anger with laser-focused call to action, non-violently, but we need emergency police reform. And I will include my 6 demands for police reform. It's not an all-inclusive list. It's 6 fundamental demands. If you would like to add more to it, email me at leroytruth247@gmail.com. That's leroytruth247@gmail.com. Also, if you would like to support the cause and the work I'm doing, PayPal, Leroy Truth, and the information of how to do that is in the description. Please send this video to every local politician, state, your senators, your congressmen, congresswomen, and the president, and demand emergency police reform in our country. We can do it. We need to do it. This should never happen again, and it is happening every day. And most of the time, no one knows because there is no body cam footage, or the body cam footage is stuffed or deleted or lost, or the body cam didn't work. This is Leroy Truth. We can make a difference. Do not ever give up. We will make a difference. I appreciate you. End qualified immunity right now. End internal investigations right now. Felony to mute or edit or delete or mess with body cam footage in any way. 24-hour release of body cam footage. All chiefs and supervisors held responsible for crimes of all police officers in their department. And number 6, end police unions right now. Thank you for who you are and for being freedom-supporting, freedom-loving people who are taking action to assure our freedoms will be intact. Until next time, this is Leroy Truth.